Well, let's take a deeper look at corruption. A significant moment in court in Pietermaritzburg today. Former President Jacob Zuma pleading not guilty to corruption charges relating to government's arms deal of 1999. Soon after that deal, the corruption warning flags went up, but it has been a long journey to get to this point of trial. And while the ANC, under the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa, has ramped up its calls to root out corruption, the Digital Vibes contract, the COVID-19 tenders, suggest it's far from under control. Let's discuss corruption cases old and new and what it tells us about winning the war on graft in South Africa. I'm joined by David Lewis, Executive Director of Corruption Watch. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, the fact that we've got to the trial moment where the former president has pleaded not guilty, do you see this as very significant, or we're heading for another delay and a bit of a Groundhog Day feeling?
It could be very significant, and, you know, I suppose it is significant that he has pleaded not guilty, if not entirely surprising. I mean, he's got this Billy Downer thing hanging over, which I am absolutely sure he will lose, but then he might decide, if there's an appeal available, to appeal it, and so it might still be a while before we get to actually the arms deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And this case, of course, the arms deal was signed in 1999. This attempt to get Zuma to answer to charges of corruption is 16 years in the making. So that's a case that has dragged on for a long time. Some people are saying, well, what about everything that's coming out of State Capture Commission? We're hearing so many allegations against the former president, but we're yet to see him facing any charges relating to state capture. Why not yet?
Well, you know, firstly, I think criminal cases take an incredibly long time to prepare and then to prosecute, whatever they are and wherever they are. And though I acknowledge that the 16 years is a particularly long time, you know, out of the Zondo Commission, you're hearing a lot of stuff. It's not, the evidence rules are not the same standard as a criminal trial. All this you can't simply take from the Zondo Commission and present to a court. All of this is going to have to be reinvestigated, and although they recently have relaxed the rules on taking evidence from the Zondo Commission, but it's still going to have to be proven in a criminal court, and so it will take a long time. I mean, I think there are stronger cases that have been revealed before Zondo with more evidence than Zuma himself, as it so happens, but there is very strong evidence, pretty strong evidence implicating Zuma. There's no doubt about it.
Let's then move to the latest concern, which of course is this Digital Vibes contract of 150 million rand awarded by the Health Department. Do you see this as more of the same potentially, or do you see a difference in the way this is being dealt with? The Health Minister has been accused of dragging his heels in terms of speaking out about this, but he explained today why. And he's basically saying not only did he immediately act on the Auditor General's red flag, but he also broadened the scope, launching an internal and an external probe and being completely open. Do you see this as a departure in the way the ANC responds to corruption, or more of the same?
Well, Sally, I mean, it's clearly a departure from the Zuma years, you know. I mean, you never got a minister in the Zuma years standing up there, nor did you with the arms deal, you know, setting up, mounting investigations and the like, and you know, nervously appearing on, you know, early morning media briefings or late at night media briefings. This wasn't so in the past, and I think we can all pat ourselves on the backs for the fact that corruption is treated more seriously. You know, not necessarily, it's not necessarily done less, but certainly the consequences are feared somewhat more, potential consequences, than they were before. I mean, this case puzzles me, but I think there's much more that we need to learn about the Digital Vibes case. Although I think the only real question for me, or put it this way, the first real question for me, and the biggest red flag that there is something wrong here, is why was this contract awarded to this firm in the first place? You know, my recollection from when this was first exposed was that this firm had been in business for a very short while, had no track record in communications. So who appointed them in the first place? How did they come to the attention of the Department of Health? Who brought it to the attention of the Department of Health? Remember, these two people or certainly one of them who worked with Dr. Mkhize, also worked with the rest of the department. So I think we need more information on it, but it does smell very bad.
What is your view on whether he should step aside at this point? The DA is saying you can't be referee and player, you need to step aside, let the SIU do its work, and then you've got the good party saying, no, you know what, we need to follow the process, it would be premature. What's your view?
I think, you know, major investigations have been set in motion. The SIU are involved, there are disciplinary inquiries involved. The statement of the DAs is quite wrong. I mean, the people, this is not going to be referee and player for Minister Mkhize alone. I mean, the whole public are going to be referees and players now. There's no way that these reports are going to be, maybe famous last words, but there's no way these reports are going to be suppressed and you know, not make it out into the open. And I would like to see the reports. I would like to see the results of the investigations. I really would. I think so would we all. We would all benefit from understanding what has happened in this contract, because, you know, on the face of it, it seems like a huge conflict of interest. On the other hand, he's saying he is not responsible for procurement decisions. You know, he seems, you know, reasonably calm and composed about the whole thing. And I think that the investigation should take their course, and they should be expedited. I mean, we shouldn't have to wait months and months for the results of the investigations. They should definitely be expedited, because this is a very big contract in a very sensitive area, and in a very large procurement area in health, where there have been a lot of problems before and continue to be. And so I think let's really try and get to the bottom of this and see what happens.
So are you saying it's premature for him to step down, or not? Do you think he should be stepping down at this point? I mean, bearing in mind he's doing such a pivotal job at the moment around COVID-19. But what is your view?
I don't think he should be stepping down. I mean, obviously the COVID tasks that he has, you know, I'm sure weigh on everybody's minds. I would like to think even the DA's, but I don't think that's the reason, you know. I think the reason is that the SIU have been called in, the other investigations involving senior counsel have been mounted. I think they should definitely be expedited. I mean, I think they should be given very stern, tight deadlines on this. I think, you know, within a matter of weeks, we should be entitled to know what their, at least prima facie, conclusions are. But I would prefer to hear the SIU's views than Dr. Mkhize's views. I really would, you know, and I think that's necessary.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Short, I don't think you should step down right away. Sorry, I didn't answer your question.
No, you did. You did. Yeah, absolutely. So he shouldn't step down right now, but this case has to move really, really fast. We need to hear what the SIU has to say. And thank you so much for chatting to us. That was David Lewis, Executive Director of Corruption Watch.